This is a spoiler warning for all of The Witcher ever. Spoilers. Be warned. I didn't hate season 4 of The Witcher. Let's talk about it. There are a few things that shows need to have for me to really enjoy them. And the thing is, there's only 2 qualifications, to be honest with you. This doesn't go for all shows, but most shows that have these requirements, I'm gonna love it. And I don't know what it is about me. I don't know what that says about me. All I know is that this is the truth. And they are. There has to be some sort of found family and or rediscovered family dynamic. And there needs to be a monster that they kill. And the thing is, it's really unfortunate. And the monster can be like made up fantasy monster. It could be like made up scientific monster. It could be, the monster could be, honestly be like a really bad person. Now, I'm flawed. I understand that. Fantasy sci-fi is what I'm gonna enjoy. And that, I am sorry to say that. I really am. Because I feel like there's so many good shows that are like drama based or like comedy based, but like dramatic, dark, fantasy, found family. Oh, I'm there every time. I'm there literally every time. The Witcher has 3 main forms of media, if you're not aware. That is the Netflix show, which has been airing for a few years now. The video games, which are set to take place after the originals, and the original books. There are like a ton of books. Some short story collections, some narrative novels that follow the life and times of the characters Geralt of Rivia, Ciri, or Princess Cirilla, and Yennefer of Vengerberg. As we dive into this, you're going to see me get very defensive of my takes of season 4 because The Witcher is known to have some of the worst fans on the planet. Some of these boys, and I know they're boys, I'll get to that in a second. Some of these boys, it like is nauseating to read the comments sometimes. Oh my god. It's just hard to be a woman in the Witcher fandom, I feel like. And I don't want to be like, this is a woman's problem, like put gender on it when it doesn't necessarily need gender on it. But listen to me. We're gonna get into it because it's hard to be a Witcher fan and a girl. Okay? The elephant in the room. The elephant in the room is that in the transition between season 3 and season 4, post-wrapping on season 3, Henry Cavill informed the Witcher team that he would not be returning for the last of the 2 seasons. Originally, there were supposed to be 7 seasons, each season detailing a book, I believe. I want to say it's 7. If not, I'll fact check myself. It could be 9. I feel like it's an odd number. Maybe it's 8. I don't know. Each season was supposed to detail a certain book. They have shifted away from that. They kind of shifted away from that in season 2, but especially in season 3. And especially now in season 4, because they have announced that they will only be doing 5 seasons. So the first 3 are with Henry Cavill. The third is when he announced that he was not going to be returning. Like, he announced right before the season released. And this is just speculation, I believe. But, like, it is kind of rumored that he had not told anyone of the cast members, and they found out through the press release. And then they all had to go do that press junket for season 3. Oh, what I would not pay to be that text thread between the other 3 leading actors. Oh my god. I would be gagged. I would be so gagged. Okay, the elephant in the room. Liam Hemsworth has replaced Henry Cavill as Geralt of Rivia, one of the main characters. I say one of because truly and honestly, the story is about all 3 of them. It is a 3-way split between Yennefer, Ciri, and Geralt. And if you wanted to argue that it's not a 3-way split, the most you could argue is it's a 2-way split. Because in the end, it's going to be about Ciri. The story has always been about Ciri. Ciri has always been the main character, in my opinion. Ciri is the protagonist. Like, this is her story. I don't know what you want me to say. Like, it is her story. Anyways, so Liam Hemsworth gets announced. And to make a very long story short, everyone, like, riots riots, and they're like, this is not our Witcher. Every toxic fanboy you've ever met in your entire life is blowing up in the comments of this Witcher post. And remember when I said that I would explain how it's hard to be a woman in the Witcher fandom? Let's dive in on that. I am of the belief that if you have ever, look me in my eyes, I believe if you have ever used the word raging in full seriousness in front of the word liberal or feminist, you should not be allowed to comment. You should not be allowed to comment on Witcher things, because this story is so deeply about women. I don't really know how you're still here. The essential part of Yennefer's narrative is derived from a conversation about bodily autonomy. Like, I don't know what you want. Primarily, like, Ciri's primary story of the overarching narrative is about autonomy. About, like, fighting destiny, about fighting who you were made to be. Like, huh? There's also a very deep and very strong link between the people who are spamming the comments of the Witcher Netflix Instagram with, like, not our Geralt, not our Geralt, not our Geralt. There's a deep link between those people and the people who in season one, mind you, that was how many years ago? Threw a absolute bitch fit about people who are not white being cast in this story. Like, what? Like, what? I was there. I wasn't there, to be honest with you. I started watching during season 2, when season 2 came out. But I was there for season 2 when you guys were still complaining about it. I'm there right now, in 2025, when you guys are still complaining about it. I'm literally begging you to get over it. How do I fix the world's misogyny and racism? Please. A lot of people went into this season, myself included, very apprehensive. Because while I am not a fan of majority of the work that Henry Cavill does, I think that he played a very good Witcher. I think he played a very good Geralt of Rivia. For what he was given, I really enjoyed his character. I was very apprehensive when they cast Liam Hemsworth because I've only ever known him as an action star. And while there is a lot of action in The Witcher, there's a lot of monster slaying, there's a lot of people slaying, there's a lot of violence, a lot of choreography. It's at its heart a character who has been so utterly abandoned by the world that the fact that he takes on a child is miraculous, in my opinion, and like raises that child is miraculous. It's a character that requires a lot of heart. Like, the primary story is specifically about found family. Like, it needs to be an actor who can play that part. And I was very scared. I will admit, I was very scared that Liam Hemsworth would not know what to do. It's why I'm here to tell you today, I was surprised. I actually really liked season 4. And there are a lot of people online who are saying that season 4 is awful. And there are a lot of people online that are saying that season 4 is the best since season 1. The opinions of this season are so mixed, it's kind of incredible. There is a very common opinion that season 3 was pretty bad. And here's the thing, I'm a sucker for found family, so like, of course I loved season 3. The prime focus of season 3 was Yennefer, Ciri, and Geralt living together and like bonding as a family. Like, of course I loved that. I would take 16 seasons of that. Please? In my hand? Right now? I enjoyed some of season 3. Some of season 3 I did not like. What I did like about season 3 was the music. All Is Not As It Seems is still one of the most banger songs ever written on this show. And I'm tired of people hating on it. I really am tired of it. Y'all do not get to hate on my song like that. That is my song. It's a good ass song. And Joey Beatty, if you can hear me, release more music. Release it. I'm a fan. Please release more music. Anyway, so a lot of the people who are coming at this like, this is way better than season 3, like this is the best thing since season 1, I don't hold that same opinion, because I find something in every season that I like, because I love these characters first and foremost. Also, before we should dive in a little bit more, I am currently reading the books, okay? Get off my back. If I say something and I mess up, I'm gonna try to fact check myself, but like I said, there are how many books? I'm currently reading them. I don't know if it's best to finish the book series before season 5 comes out, because I assume season 5 will come out this time next year because it's already filmed. It's already in post-production. So like, I wonder, I don't know. If you're a book reader and you find this and you made it to this point in the video, drop in the comments whether or not I should finish reading the books before season 5 and like know what happens and just be like delighted that it's happening, or if I should wait and finish reading the books afterwards, and if so, where should I stop? Now that we've gotten that out of the way, just like last time, I'm referencing my laptop. Forgive me. What are you gonna do? Let's get into the cast! I, day one, have been a Freya Allan supporter. I love her. She kills this role. She really does just kill this role. From the beginning, it was very heartfelt. She was obviously very young when she started. This show has been taking place for a long time, and her character is supposed to be 9 to 13, depending on who you talk to in the first season. She started very young and has like grown so beautifully into this character. This season, I think, was when we first got to see her like technical side come out, because like, oh my god, she carries a lot of the heart of the season. Ciri, where we left her, is very, very vulnerable. She's very, very sad. I think sad is too simple of a word to describe where we leave her. Just like, if you thought that she couldn't get more broken, just wait. But she is very broken. She's lost the two only people that she like loves, I think. I think she loves Jaskier, but like her parents are on the other side of the continent and she kind of has no one right now. But it's a hard place to start a season in, I feel like. And to just get built up, and then we'll talk about it, but to be just utterly beaten down at the end is, as a viewer, is horrifying to watch. Like, horrifying. Such a complicated character. Oh my god. This character has literally not seen a happy day. Okay, she was happy in season 3 for some of it. I feel like Ciri was kind of happy, even though she was on the run and she was not happy about being on the run in season 3. She was happy to be living with Geralt and Yennefer, I think, because they are her parents. The script, I think, does do her wrong in some form or fashion this season, but I do think that she really holds down. She really is determined to be on her own because she thinks that she's better on her own, which is just heartbreaking as the viewer, because we're also seeing Yennefer and Geralt fight so hard for her, either to restore the world so that way she can come back, or to literally find her. And it's heartbreaking to watch Ciri devolve into a character who is so angry and so upset, but we rationalize with her and we understand why she is that angry and that upset. All she's known since the beginning of the show is death and destruction. If not caused by her, then caused for her. It's a beautiful masterclass, I think, in playing the circumstance. I have always loved Freya Allan in this role, to be honest with you, and I'm not going to stop. When Liam was cast and I was doubtful about whether I was going to watch again, I said that I was going to watch for her and Anya always. So, there you go. I think I said Anya before, but it's Anya Chalotra is the woman who plays Yennefer of Vengerberg. My apologies, queen. Because you're a queen. You're a queen. I love Yennefer so much. She, from the very beginning of the show, has told a clear story about autonomy, whether or not it was supported by the books. There's a huge controversy about season 2 and how it does not follow the books. And to be honest with you, I had not started reading the books when I started the show, so it doesn't bother me as much. Book deviations in general don't bother me that much, because at the end of the day, I understand that it's a separate art form. Carries her plot like normal. God, what a woman. What a woman. She has the physicality. She has the emotionality of Yennefer. Like, what a hard role, truly and honestly, to go from the season 1 like young mage who is so determined for power and so hungry for power, through season 2 and through season 3, like developing this love for a child is so beautiful. And then to watch in season 4 her break at not having anything that she loves anymore. Like, her sisterhood is gone, her mother is gone, her partner is gone, her child is gone. Like, it's a hard thing to carry, and I think that Enya does it beautifully. What a woman. I loved in this season her passion for searching for Ciri, because again, the relationships are always going to draw me back in. That's going to be the root of the show for me. And so at the end of the day, Yennefer searching for Ciri will always be something that draws me back in, because it shows how deeply Yennefer loves Ciri, that she's willing to sacrifice power. She's willing to sacrifice everything for her. And that's beautiful for me, because watching Yennefer grow like that, chef's kiss. I love you, queen. All right, Joey Beatty, I adore you. Joey Beatty, let me, a 21-year-old lesbian, kiss you on the mouth, because like the performance is just stellar. He also has the voice of an angel. I know I said it earlier. Please release more music. I literally on my hands and knees like this. More. I will say the yes bitch had me gagged in season 4, episode 5. We're talking about season 4. Of course it was in season 4. Episode 5, he has this yes bitch delivery that gags me. It was so good. This is controversial, so I will tread lightly. Any book fans, please get off my neck. Please. I'm trying to become one of you. I just can't care that much right now. I also just like the show. And why is that embarrassing to say? I like the show, okay? Please get off my back. In the book, King Radovid is a child. And that's a plot point, is that he's a child being manipulated by Dijkstra. In the show, they age him up to be a love interest for Jaskier, a queer romance. So we love representation there. We'll get to that. Oh my god, the representation in this show just is like, oh, when you make a show about bad people and there's no perfect people, it means the representation is not perfect and they can be bad. And let me tell you, Radovid is a bad person. That man is a bad person. In the show, there is a scene this season, which is basically like Jaskier confronting Radovid while Radovid is trying to essentially manipulate Jaskier to join him by torturing Geralt. And Joey Beatty like just popped the fuck off. Like, I don't really know how to explain it. That scene rocks. So feel what you want to feel about Radovid being aged up. Feel it. I understand that it's a major change. It doesn't bother me because I didn't know Radovid as a child. And I don't know the significance of that. But Joey Beatty ate that scene the fuck up. I love you, King. Yes! One thing that I love about Jaskier as a character is that you can really tell that he cares. He is one of the only mortal characters, mortal in the sense that like we would understand. So like he is like a normal human in the show, which is hard to come by until like this season. They introduced a few more regular human characters, but in the core 4 of Ciri, Geralt, Yennefer, and Jaskier, Ciri is raised to be perfectly human and that there's nothing wrong with her, but she is the child of elder blood. So like she does have magical powers. The core part of last season was Yennefer training Ciri to become some sort of mage. So Jaskier is kind of one of the only characters that is a regular human character. And they kind of bring that up this season, which I really enjoyed. They talk about him chronicling his life because he's not going to be around forever, which I think is super neat. And so you can just really feel how much Jaskier loves his company. He devotes all of his time to being a part of Geralt's company. He loves Ciri, Yennefer. He loves them. And so I think it's really beautiful how Joey Beatty plays this, because while we added more characters this season to the Hansa, which I'm excited to talk about in a second, it does mean that Jaskier kind of gets pulled back a little bit, which is sad because I wish that we had more of him. I really do. But when you add more characters to Geralt's traveling company, the one that you've been focusing on this whole time does kind of get have to take a back seat, which is sad. And it's not like they completely undervalue Jaskier. In the dialogue, they do make a point to make sure that Geralt is seen to have a closer relationship with Jaskier than any other member of his company, because they are all so new, except for Yarpen, which we have met before, but everyone else is practically brand new. They do make a point in the dialogue to emphasize Geralt's care for Jaskier, which I think is beneficial, because we as the audience miss having Jaskier and Geralt 24/7 traveling together, because now they've evolved the cast and expanded it. But it is a nice nod to what we see. And in the limited dialogue that Joey Beatty has this season, he really does give an excellent performance and show his care for the situation that they're in, his care for Ciri, especially his care for Geralt. I really did love Joey Beatty this season, and as always, he has the voice of an angel. Keep singing, King, please! Alright, let's talk about Liam Hemsworth. It's why you are all here, I think, if anyone's here. If so, hey! The more and more I watch Liam, the more and more I really enjoy his performance. Let me say, I need to go back and do a second watch. I always watch the seasons twice. I need to go back and do a second watch of this season specifically to get the intricacies of his performance. I think they have done a really excellent job with Geralt this season. I really do. And by they, I mean Liam Hemsworth. Like, he did a great job. There was always going to be a level of hate that the Witcher fandom puts on him. And it's not because he earned it. It is purely and specifically because of a narrative that was created that Henry Cavill himself was trying to implement more and more of the lore accurate versions of Geralt into the script. I think it put fans on his side when he leaves, because then the rumor started. It is not confirmed anywhere. I literally checked the entire internet. However, when he leaves, it becomes speculated that he leaves because the writers and him have significant disagreements of what the story should go on to do, which means that the fan response to this is Henry Cavill leaves because he is not being guaranteed that the seasons will shift more closely to the books. More accurate to the lore. Now, we talked about the 3 versions of The Witcher that there are. It is quite well known that Henry Cavill is a game fan, which means that he knows Geralt primarily from Witcher 2 and 3, which are future versions of The Witcher, specifically Geralt post the events of the book. Now, I understand the actions taken to make Geralt more accurate in the lore to Henry Cavill's understanding. However, I don't want to detail all of this out for you because it's a lot. There is look at my computer so that way you can see. There is an incredible post on r/Netflix Witcher, the subreddit. So take everything with a grain of salt. Talking about the decisions that Henry Cavill may have made. All of this is rumor. All of this is speculation. May have made to make the character more like the game, when in fact this is about the books. It's not necessarily untrue that Henry Cavill tried to make the character more specific to the lore. It's not necessarily untrue that he didn't. It's complicated, and I think because of NDAs and because of Hollywood, we will never really know the full extent of who takes what blame. So if you are interested in what I'm talking about and like the perception of Henry Cavill as the quote unquote like savior of the Netflix Witcher, I really implore you to read this post because I think it's interesting. They do pull quotes directly from sources, so it's not like they're just like making quotes up out of thin air. But the post is called "It's Time We Talked About Henry Cavill," and it's by spare_tangerine_2549 on Reddit. That post kind of has compiled a lot of quotes from Henry Cavill and some quotes from the showrunners and the writers of the show, specifically the showrunner. I think it's important to read, especially if you're going to hate on the show because you think that it's not lore accurate because of the choices that Liam Hemsworth is making. Okay, now that we've gotten that out of the way, let me tell you about Liam, because I really enjoyed his performance. they are definitely shifting his character more towards what the book version of Geralt is, which is a kind of quiet, introspective, but he does not do he does do the standard grunts and side eyes and that kind of thing that we've come to know Geralt to do throughout the show, which is very accurate to the game. He does talk more, and I think it's an adjustment for the viewer. So just be prepared for that. But I don't hate it, because I always want to know more of the emotionality of a character. I want to know how they relate to other characters. So I think this is a good shift, I think, in my opinion. He's speaking more openly about his feelings, which if we were to look at a grand character arc, in the last episode of season 3, Geralt loses. I'm going to read specifically from a note that I took while I was watching the show, because it occurred to me in the middle of night when I was watching the show. The character has just come from literal death and lost his child and his partner and his ability to protect them, critically injured by someone who he thought was safe. He is stereotypically the protector and the father, meaning that some of his main character motivations are to protect his charge, Ciri, and to protect his partner, Yennefer. If you're upset by his character shifting, hello? Even in canon, I feel like this is normal. Trauma? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Hello? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Essentially what I'm saying is, with where the arc has left him, it makes sense that he has changed. It makes sense. I don't know any man who could try to protect his family, utterly fail, and then not be broken by that. We meet Geralt in a broken place in season 4. He has failed his destiny from his perspective. He has failed to protect his child surprise. If you're confused by what child surprise means, I'm surprised you have made it this long into the video. I'm just going to assume that everyone knows what I'm talking about. Sorry. My camera cut out. My bad. What I was saying was that if you don't understand what a child surprise is, I'm surprised you're still here. But I'm glad you're still here, but I can't waste time explaining it. Standouts from the acting company. Excuse me. I hashtag loved the members of the Hansa. So a huge shout out to Danny Woodburn, who played Zoltan, Jeremy Crawford, who plays Yarpen, and Lawrence Fishburne, who plays Regis. Especially Regis stood out this season. What an incredible, interesting character. Hashtag loved the entire thing. I'm very glad that it turned out the way that it did. We're going to talk more about the Hansa in a second. And then another one who I think deserves just the biggest round of applause is, forgive me for mispronouncing your name, sir, Sharlto Copley. He plays Leo Bonhart, who is just the most evil man you've ever seen in your entire life. It is kind of sickening how well this character is portrayed, and it's kind of nauseating. It's incredible. He does an incredible job, especially in the last episode. I'm very excited for season 5. Very excited to see where he goes in season 5. Sorry, got stuck watching a Witcher YouTube video. Yennefer's plotline is one that I'll start with. It's the one that I'm most disappointed in. I'm conflicted. I think that this season's plotline had to happen to justify what happened last season with the ending of Tissa's life and with Vilgefortz. I think that it was necessary because of where they're at. I think that it was better than what it previously has been for Yennefer. However, I did not fully resonate with it. The note that I took down was, this had to happen to justify the killing of Vilgefortz in season 5 and channeling Yen's mission into season 5, but I feel like we're in the same spot as we were at the ending of season 3, which is hard, because while we may have formed some sort of lodge, Yennefer has now left them to be on her own to find and kill Vilgefortz. So it's hard. However, I love Yennefer, and I love her determination to find Ciri. I love her coming into her own and realizing that her goal as a leader should never be to have power, but to serve those closest to her. And in a way, I love how selfish she is about Ciri. I love how determined she is to find her and to bring her home safely into a home that is safe for her to live in. So that was just really nice to see. I like that the battle in episode 6 builds up to the vulnerability of Vilgefortz, but it was just hard to focus on that all season for me, especially since the battle happened in 6 and not 7 or 8, which means that we still had 2 more episodes of time to fill with Yennefer. When it started happening, I was like, wow, this is really close for this battle. I also love to bring back the House of the Wolf. I think that's super cool, but I am not really loving how Vesemir was done this season. Vesemir dying without Geralt even being there, purely as an outside perspective, not about anything in the books. It's just kind of sad. And we went straight into a sex scene after she told him about it. So like it's just hard to wrap my head around. The rats! Okay, so I have a lot of thoughts about the rats, and you will have to forgive me because I know some of them do not correlate or align with what some people are thinking. I liked the rats. I will say that. I start off from the top saying I liked the rats storyline. I am not with the common opinion that they were not super great. I really did enjoy them. I liked the dramatic shift in tone that the rest of the season had with the final last few minutes of the show for the rats, with the massacre of the rats at the very end of episode 8. It is jarring as hell to be going from this very light, very Disney-esque tone, not Disney, but like that friendship, that like camaraderie, to then this massacre. There was always an underlying tone with the rats that I think most people didn't necessarily see, because in the books it's very obvious that they are bad people. They are very villainous in the books, and with the show they kind of presented them more as like friendly, laid back, like another found family-esque scenario. But they did show the rats murdering, massacring people, thieving them. They kidnapped a child at one point. Like, they're not good people. And so I think what the standard audience is confusing with them being portrayed as good people is the show from Ciri's eyes seeing the rats around her as family, when in reality they are very, especially Missel, very possessive of her, very controlling of her, wanting information but giving none. Like, it's a weird power exchange that is interesting. Another thing that people are pretty upset about is that in the books, Ciri is assaulted twice. Once by a member of the Rats Company, and then once again by her romantic relationship of the season and of the book, Missel. It is a queer relationship. However, in the show, they show a toned down version of what the original assault looks like by one of the other Rats members. And then in the show, Ciri seems to give consent to Missel for their sexual interaction afterwards. In the book, it is very obvious that Ciri froze and was not able to vocalize her consent, and therefore able to vocalize her rejection of her consent. In the show, it's not explicitly said that she says yes. She is still vulnerable, and I think there's a position of power that needs to be taken into account. And my big point is, I do not think that showing Missel's second assault on Ciri makes the situation any lighter. I think that in regards to the entire storyline, I think it weakens that certain element that people were looking for, because it weakens the villainous nature of the rats from the very obvious perspective. But if you were to really look deeper into the subject matter and into the storyline, I think you would see that they are still very possessive, still very controlling of Ciri, especially in Missel's regard. I don't necessarily think not showing that was a mistake. Let me read you what I wrote down while watching it, because I think it's a good point. Not that Missel was supposed to be the representation that we were looking for, but I'll read you what I wrote. There are bad lesbians, but in this political climate, especially in the US where I am from, but to be honest with you, all over the world, is showcasing a lesbian raping a young woman a good thing? Is that the kind of representation we want? I do not think that the goal was for Missile to be good representation, but in this current political climate, it is very dangerous to show that kind of relationship between lesbians, and at the same time, the fandom of The Witcher has never taken kindly to anything that wasn't cis, white, or straight. In fact, while scrolling to find information about this season, I found not 1, not 2, not 3, but 5 posts on multiple different Witcher subreddits about how Ciri got woke all of a sudden and decided to have a girlfriend. She's been woke since 1996, and I do hate to say that to you, but God! I think that they took away from the outright villainousness of these characters because at the end of the day, they wanted us to sympathize with the journey that Ciri goes on next, which is to avenge these friends. And so with lightening their tone, it makes the beheading of her friends that much more effective and that much more emotionally moving, which I think will be beneficial moving into season 5 when it's Ciri's time to shine. And then finally, what most and myself are considering the best plotline of the season is the forming of the Hansa, which is the company that travels with Geralt on his way to find Ciri. And so I just want to talk about that for a second. I loved to see them come together. It was so interesting to feel each of their stories click into place and feel how the group kind of formed, especially when we're used to seeing Geralt travel as a solo or a duo with only Jaskier. So it was really fun to see that come together. I loved what we were doing in the subtext of this, especially because one thing that Regis mentions that we've kind of been hinting at throughout the seasons, but I'm really excited that we're finally kind of delving into, is the fact that Geralt is, quote, not a normal Witcher, meaning that he has feelings, he feels things deeply, he cares about other people, which is something that stereotypically Witchers do not do. And so I started thinking about this storyline specifically and what it means for the other characters in the Hansa. Their tying link is that all of them are things that stereotypically the other races of the continent would assume them not to be. And so I think focusing on this in the future, if they do that, then they focus on the building connection, the family, all of the aspects that really get people involved in a storyline. And then I wrote this: he's not a normal Witcher, ! I love playing with the idea that we start to see the world around Geralt shift, their perspectives on Witchers. Nothing is ever as you were taught. Question everything. The other members of the Hansa also have these secrets or things that they keep to themselves that they only tell Regis, because he's the one keeping the biggest secret, in my opinion, because he literally could kill all of them, because he's a vampire. They tell Regis, or they don't tell Regis, and Regis finds out by himself because he's a vampire. And in episode 5, they all sit down around a campfire and just tell each other their stories. And it's so beautiful to watch. I think it's some of the best writing. We also get to hear Joey Beatty sing, so I'm kind of partial to that. I think it's beautiful to watch them sit down and kind of keep talking about this. We especially get to learn more about Milva then, someone who I was struggling to connect with, I will admit. But after episode 5, I really did enjoy Milva. And I am excited to see what she does next season. One thing I forgot to mention is my favorite storyline of the season revolving around the Hansa is in What I Love, I Do Not Carry, which is an episode all about Geralt and finding what it means to him to be a father, what it means for him emotionally now that he doesn't have his partner or his child. Just some beautiful work by Liam Hemsworth. I loved that episode. I also loved the 2 guests on that episode who played the spirits. They were very fun. And the effects makeup was crazy. I love The Witcher. I really do. I think season 4 was pretty great overall. It had rough spots that I mentioned earlier, and also some that I didn't mention just because I didn't think they'd be productive. There were some moments of writing that didn't really gel with me. But one thing I do want to say is, if you made it this far and you are a fan of The Witcher and you have not watched season 4 yet, either because you're scared or because you think that Liam's not going to do a great job, I really encourage you to go in with an open mind. You never know what you're going to like. You never know what you're not going to like. And if you don't like it, quit watching it. Like, it's one thing to be indecisive, but it's another thing to, like, watch it to rage bait people. Just quit interacting with those people online. I know that I am. It's taken way less of my mental health that way. There's going to be rage baiters and there's going to be toxic fans, but this story is so deeply about issues that they could never understand. And so why would you let them have it for themselves? So that's my take on it. But I really liked season 4 of The Witcher. Thanks for joining me. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you on the other side.